And at this time, I don't know if Diane wants to say anything, but
No, I don't. I mean, we've sent around. I'm just thrilled that we're doing this. This is the first of two series we are having this season, which is really a first for us. But we're delighted to welcome back Ross Weissman. And with the work of the Education Committee, they should get some props. I can't see the screen right now to see who all is here, but this was surely a collaborative effort by a committee that gave concerted thought to the themes that might best resonate with us as a group. And we didn't all disagree, so sometimes things are by consensus, which is my approach, but thankfully the consensus was yay, Ross. So we're going to proceed now with that, but I think Ross will be better to introduce the course himself and what's going to just unfold for us. Thanks, everyone.
great. Thank you, Diane. Ross, take it away. Ooh, we lost Ross.
I got disconnected. I'm back with you.
Oh, okay. These things happen.
Is the floor mine? I got disconnected when Diane was giving the introduction.
Yeah, the floor is now yours.
Okay, cool. Well, good timing then. Hello, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, do you mind sharing the enabling?
Oh, I have to post you again.
Hello and good morning to everybody.
There you go.
Thank you. All right, so let's see if this works. Okay, that looks great. And here's my screen. Okay, wonderful. So, welcome. Hello again. Welcome to what I believe this is the first of the winter education series, right, at Lev Ha'ir this winter. Thank you for joining us. This series, it's a three-part series, is entitled Gratitude, Praise, Delight, and More. Jewish rituals that frame the day. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be looking at Jewish rituals that frame the day from morning to night. And this first session is called the Morning Light. So we're going to be focusing on rituals of the morning with one in particular. And I see there's a chat already. Can you get rid of all the rest of the stuff on the shared screen? I can try to do that. I will try to share my screen again. There we go. Does that look better visually?
Yeah, if you can get rid of the toolbars and stuff like that, but you're fine.
Okay, the toolbars, these other tabs at the top?
Okay, the one that says session 1 morning light all the way across and then all the way to the left side, those can be hidden, but it's really fine. It's really fine. You're good.
Okay, I'm actually going to be jumping between the different tabs. So that's why they're up there at the moment, but hopefully they won't be too much of a distraction for everyone. So I thought this is our very first session. We have 3 together. I just thought I'd do a little self-introduction. And then I would love if we could do a quick kind of just go around to hear about who's in the group with us today. So my name is Ross. I live in Marion. And what I do with my free time is a number of things. This is actually my 3rd year teaching with FIR, which I'm very delighted to be back. I just started actually a nonprofit based in Southern Oregon that, although I'm based in Philly, that's meant to be a house of Jewish study, religious study, and also ecological reflection. And I'm also a part-time teacher at the high school at Barrack in Bryn Mawr. And so I like to teach whenever I get a chance. So I'm happy to be here with you all. Do you think we could do a quick go around for folks to introduce themselves? I'd love to hear your name, why you're interested in this 3-part series, and then if you have any favorite rituals to start your day. We are somewhat a big group, so if I encourage folks to kind of say your name, and then if you could pass it on to somebody else, so we can just kind of get the sense of who's in the room together, and then we'll kind of keep going with our learning together. So I'll invite you to share and then call on somebody else to then give them the mic. Bobby, do you mind starting us off?
No, that's fine.
Awesome.
Everybody knows me. Bobby Cohen. I'm here because I love Ross's teachings, the way he teaches, and I'm always interested in learning new rituals or things to think about that can improve my day to day. So thank you for that. I'll call on Myrna. Myrna, you're on mute.
Okay, I'm okay now, huh?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Ernest Schlanger, and I like the idea that we're looking for something positive and joyful in Judaism. And that's what I.
Awesome.
You want to call on somebody else? Just pick somebody else on the screen.
Barbara Ashkenaz.
Good morning. Hi, I'm here because I always find something uplifting and interesting. Thank you.
Yes,
And call on someone else.
So sorry. Ed.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm Ed Berkowitz. I enjoy davening shacharis, and Ross, I'm very happy that we have you here to help us deconstruct one of the prayers. I will call on Iris Newman.
Hello. What am I doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
We're
Iris. Just say why you're here. What attracted you to this course?
I always do whatever Lev Ha'ir wants me to. There's always something good.
Good. And do you want to call on somebody else? Can you see somebody else on the screen?
Edda,
I think you're muted, Edda.
I'm just very grateful because Iris introduced me to Lev Ha'ir, and I never miss anything that they have. There's always so much to offer. I'm awfully glad to be here.
And call on someone else, please.
I guess Amy.
So I'm Amy, and Drew is here too. And no, I was interested. I don't have particular rituals, but I really love the idea of rituals being tiny little personal events, little things like in the thing it said, tying your shoe or something, so I like the idea of how you incorporate like just small things in your day rather than having to make it a big deal.
I'd say the closest thing I have to a Jewish ritual in the morning is I have a bagel for breakfast every day.
And do you want to call on someone?
Sure, Beverly.
I'm still laughing at Drew. Very funny. Yes, Beverly Hayden and a longtime member of Lev Ha'ir. And Ross, you just blew me away last time, the whole series. And I was so impressed. I said, oh, yes, he's back and I'm going to join. Thank you, Ross.
And call on someone, please.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know who's here. I mean, help just a minute. Valerie, sorry about that. Roby. Are you there, Roby?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I just had a birthday. I feel we're getting old, and we're never too old to learn more, is my slogan of today. Thank you, Ross, for being with us again. I will call, I didn't have the whole thing on. I will call on Carol.
Good morning, everyone. Carol Vorsheimer. I did not grow up with Jewish rituals. My ritual is breakfast, and I'm very curious and looking forward. Thank you, Ross. And I will call on Wendy Jordan in California.
I haven't really followed Jewish rituals since I was a kid. And I'm interested in learning how I might incorporate ritual into my adult life.
And can you call on someone, please?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Patty?
Yes. Well, I always look forward to the things that you present, Ross. I'm a habitual learner. Anytime I see an opportunity to learn something new, I try and participate. And that's why I'm here. It's nice to see some other learners about. Debbie, you want to say something?
Sorry about the TV in the background. So, you know, I have some rituals and things I try to do every morning before breakfast, but they're not Jewish. My first thing I always do before I get out of bed is Wordle. That's my ritual. And then every morning I exercise on our elliptical, and I find when I do Duolingo while I'm doing that, it gives me more stamina somehow. And then I meditate every morning. I use Insight Timer for meditation, and then I have breakfast. But like Patty, I'm a habitual learner. I don't think I ever stopped taking courses my whole life. And I love the courses here at Lev Hayir. And if I could learn to incorporate a Jewish ritual, so much the better. And who has not had a turn? Enid.
All right, Enid Adler, David is here too. He's just not sitting here.
Hi there.
Yeah, well, we're also on the committee that help make this decision. Ross, we love the way you teach, and we have our own little rituals in the morning, but I think more than that, we're here to learn and to hear what some of the things that you have to teach us. Okay, let's see who, Joe, I think is there somewhere.
Thank you. I think there's some more people left after me, so I'll pick on somebody. I was hoping I could be like in the NFL draft, the last person picked is Mr. Irrelevant, but I didn't quite make it, but maybe next time. But well, I've always enjoyed Ross's teachings in the past, so I was psyched that he's going to teach again. And I guess the other thing, I think one of the things that was mentioned was gratefulness. And I have found, that's a good thing to remind me about, because I have found that when I do kind of try to put myself in a mood to be grateful for things, it does kind of boost me up. You know, like there's stuff out there to kind of boost you up if you just think about it for a while. So I'm interested in that part too. Thank you very much. Let me pick Patricia Sadier.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. I'm Patricia, and I'm not very familiar with the Jewish rituals, so I'm eager to learn. And I want to echo another person talking about bagel. I would like to say mine is a chocolate croissant every morning, but it's not true every morning. Most of them.
And I think we still have
maybe let's see what Avi.
Evie Simon, is there such a thing as a Ross junkie? Because I'll follow Ross wherever he's teaching. I have a ritual in the morning that I put the tea water on to boil, and while I do that, I do an exercise with putting my feet up and down. I don't know that that's a terribly Jewish ritual, but when I get around to eating breakfast, and if there's some bread involved, I do say a motzi blessing before I eat my bread. And let's see who's, how about Pat Wish?
Hi, hi, I'm Pat, and I have always liked to think about my organs opening and closing and my soul being restored. And so I'd like to delve deeper into those mitzvot. Thank you.
And do you want to call on someone, Pat?
Of
Do
course,
you want-
yes. And I will call on, I'm looking, Diane.
Hi, this is Diane. I think I echo with, I hope you can hear me, with what Wendy said, which was, well, I'll just say it, that I had the only ritual practices that I was taught as Jewish ritual practices in terms of the morning was going to Camp Ramah, which inculcated me with that. But unfortunately, I don't think they taught me about the spirit behind it. And I lost that practice, and I'm really looking forward to connecting the two through you today in this session, Ross. I'll call on Faith, if Faith, whom I don't know, would like to talk.
Hello, good morning, Ross and everybody. I am kind of, I guess, in kindergarten when it comes to learning about Jewish practices and rituals. So I'm really excited to be here and learn from everybody. And I start my day with Wordle too. I can't see the names, I'm sorry, so I can't call on someone else.
Okay, I think Ellen, I don't think we heard from Ellen.
Ellen, I'm not sure if you can unmute your phone, but that might not happen.
*6.
Bobby, why don't you go meanwhile?
I did.
You did.
I was first.
Oh.
Did we miss anybody? I don't think so, but don't be shy if we did. Okay, Russ, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, awesome. I'm going to share my screen again. Well, thank you all for your introductions and also for your kind words and your generosity in inviting me back. I want to just highlight a few folks said that you're habitual learners. And I think that's in some ways what ritual is. It's habitual learning. It's about building habits. And some rituals are rituals that we do every day. You know, maybe we have a bagel to start our day, and that adds some layer of structure and meaning to our day. And sometimes we have rituals that happen once a year. We may go to synagogue for Rosh Hashanah or fast on Yom Kippur. Those are rituals too. And so the ritual of habit that we're going to be looking at today is the habit of the morning. So one that appears, every day in our lives. So just with that, I just wanted to just introduce briefly what the next, how the series is going to look. I mentioned we're going to be looking at the day. You might have seen in the short description of the program, Judaism has rituals for everything, all the time, and anywhere. And we're going to be looking at the day, and we're going to be highlighting different rituals that parallel and give shape to the day. And there's more to be said, but we're going to be looking at morning, afternoon, and night for our purposes. And this is why we're here. This is the intention of the learning together. Is first we're going to deepen understanding of traditional Jewish ritual. In our case today, we're going to be looking at Modeh Ani, waking up in the morning, but also led by years of reconstruction of shul. So what we're also going to do is going to explore contemporary, artistic, and reconstructionist approaches or adaptations of that same ritual. So we'll be looking at the traditional, and then we're also going to be looking at the, could say, contemporarily reconstructed. And then we're going to be reflecting too. How does this speak to us? Is this something that we can jive with? Does this resonate with us? So that's going to be the main arc and our purpose. And our structure is going to be pretty straightforward. After we go through some kind of introduction of the material, we're going to read the sources together. We're going to read together and we're going to discuss. And discussion is going to be the central part of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So this is just as an opening question. I'd love to hear your thinking on this. Is why morning rituals? Why are morning rituals of particular significance or interest to us as a group, but also why are they particularly significant, or could they be significant in Jewish thinking? This is an open question for the group. feel free to unmute or to raise your hand and just share your thoughts. Why the morning? Yeah, Debbie.
So I
You-
forgot to mention also in the morning, I pray for direction. What is it that God wants me to do that day? And so obviously the morning is the appropriate time.
Awesome. So there's some kind of orienting that happens to how you start your day. Okay, good. What else? Yeah, Wendy.
Well, it's a time to thank God for letting you make it through the night and to wake up alive. I think there's something about your 15th, 16th dead when you sleep. So that would be gratitude.
Awesome. So there is an unknown when you're sleeping, and rabbinic tradition has sleeping as, I believe it's 1/60th death. I think there also is like 1/60th prophecy. I have to look at the exact numbers of it, but there's considered a partial, lack of consciousness, and that's parallel to death. So when you wake up, there's an opportunity to look at being alive or being conscious again. Roby, did you have your hand raised too? I don't know if you might be frozen, but we can come back. Did anybody else have any other thoughts? Why the morning? Why the morning for ritual and Jewish ritual in particular? Okay, good. I think this is what we're getting after. So I'm gonna actually change tabs here and share my screen again. So the morning light. So the first source we're going to look at is from the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch is a 16th century legal code. It was written by Yosef Karo in Sfat, northern Israel. And one of the purposes, the project of this document is to help organize Jewish practice. Jewish ritual is often codified in Jewish tradition in legal documents. So the Shulchan Aruch is a legal document that contains and summarizes and outlines how to do different rituals. And on top of it, there's reflection from the author about like what's the orientation one should have when doing these rituals, or how to approach these certain things. So I thought we could begin just by reading his very first reflection. One should strengthen. Does anybody mind reading that for us? You can feel free to just unmute and read out loud for everybody.
One should strengthen himself like a lion to get up in the morning to serve his creator, so that is he who awakens the dawn.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So we have an orientation for how to wake up. Can someone in their own words describe what this orientation is?
This is Diane.
Yeah.
Like a lion. So there's a couple things I think of is yoga cat cow, how the lion stretches and gets ready, but also like a lion, which is, not yet ready to pounce, but to feel one's body and to know that there's action ahead, but you have to kind of work towards getting to that moment of readiness.
Yeah. Good. Very nice. Nice summary. Any other thoughts on it? What is, I'm curious, like what the group thinks, the fact that this even needs to be said, right? One should strengthen oneself. What does this imply about most people's tendency when waking up in the morning, if anything?
This is perfect for me because I am very lazy and slow to get out of bed. I wake up, but I do a million things while I'm still in bed. So I think this is an important lesson and something I've been trying to make myself do, but this makes it a little clearer. Get my day started.
Nice. Yeah, it acknowledges a tendency that we have. Right? We're tired. Or a lot of times people are tired. They're comfy.
And it also is saying to me that in order to do the rituals, one can't sleep until the last minute. You have to build more time from the time you get up till the time you have to proceed to the next task.
Very nice. Good. And that's probably implied in some ways through, I guess, the phrase to serve one's creator, right? Because if I'm assuming that if you're, rushing around and you don't feel like you have your head on, it's probably hard to do that adequately.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
This kind of comes from my Torah learning that I do. So the last phrase, so that it is he who awakens the dawn.
Yeah.
Is the he referring to the person, or is he the creator who awakens the dawn?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I was wondering the same thing because he is not capitalized and creator is. So is it the human being who awakens the dawn? It sounds like a lot of chutzpah to say that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm reading it as though it is he. Yitgaber ka'ari. So one should strengthen oneself like a lion. La'amod b'boker, to stand up in the morning. La'avodat boro, for the service of one's creator. Shiyehu me'orer hashachar, so that it would be he, that person, that awakens the dawn. So it's like, I think it's a literary expression, right? It's like, it's not a literal thing, right? Not as to say that they're, they have the power to make the sun rise, but rather to avoid the converse, which is that, you're letting the sunlight kind of wake you up and maybe make you squint and have a gentle awakening. That's how I'm reading it, at least. Does anybody have other readings? You're welcome to disagree. I don't know if I'm, there's probably other ways to go about this. Yeah, but that's how I'm generally reading it, is like, don't be passive. Don't let the sun do it. You should do it. So let's go down a little bit. So the Shulchan Aruch, this is Joseph Caro. And almost simultaneously, when he was working on this project, there was another person named Moshe Isserlis who was working on a very similar project. The way I've always heard the story is that Joseph Caro published it first. And Moshe Isserlis was like, oh gosh, what do I do with my work? So what he wrote an addendum almost. He kind of wrote his own commentary on the Shulchan Aruch to kind of add his 2 cents into the conversation. So this, and his name, he's Moshe Isserlis, often summarizes the Ramah. This is a longer chunk of text, but does anybody mind reading this? I have set the Lord, and reading this paragraph for us.
I have set the Lord before me constantly. This is a major principle in the Torah and amongst the virtues of the righteous who walk before God. For a person's way of sitting, his movements and his dealings when he is alone in his house are not like his ways of sitting, his movements and his dealings when he is before a great king, nor are his speech and free expression as much as he wants when he is with his household members and his relatives, like his speech when in a royal audience. All the more so when one takes to heart that the great king, the Holy One, blessed is he, whose glory fills the earth, is standing over him and watching his actions. As it is stated, will a man hide in concealment and I will not see him? The word of God. He immediately acquires fear and submission and dread of God, may he be blessed, and is ashamed of him constantly.
Good, thank you. That was a dense reflection, but you can see Moshe Isserles is now expanding on this. What does it mean to wake up like a lion in the morning? He makes a few points here. It's a dense one. Can someone help summarize some of the points in here for us? You feel free just to unmute and share.
I think there are ways of acting and speaking in different situations. One perhaps is within yourself in your own household. One is certainly when you're out with other people. One, to bring it to today, is you're dealing with people professionally. And it says, will a man hide in concealment and I will not see him? I think that we all, I should not speak for other people, but anyhow, we all conceal something within ourselves that we're not willing to share with some people and yet willing to share with others. And so that's just my comment on that.
Good, thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. It's a rhetorical question, right? Well, can someone hide? And this is God speaking, would I not see what's going on? I think the Ramad that Moshe Isserles here is also reflecting, like you're saying. I guess that was Enid reading. I couldn't see, but I could hear. Was that Enid? He was reading.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Reflecting that, just like you said, that we act differently depending on our audience, but is also kind of highlighting, when we wake up in the morning, is anybody watching us? And maybe some people's tendency is like, no one's watching, now's my time to just, let it all out, just relax. I can burp and I don't have to say, excuse me. I can have messy hair. That's fine. And here it's like almost twisting it. You think you're not in front of somebody, but don't forget, there's somebody here. And this opening line from Psalms, I think, is setting the stage for it. I have set the Lord before me constantly. So waking up in the morning and thinking, oh no, I'm before somebody or something. Let's say for folks in the group who have maybe different perspectives about God, or maybe has doubt or doesn't believe in God, could this speak to you? Does it speak to you? If you feel comfortable sharing, if not in front of something, as there could also be a self accountability here that's worth reflecting on.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Thanks. Well, the idea of like God, maybe God's watching or something. That part, I would say, I'm not really, focused on that, because my theory is that God is kind of like a parent who goes away for a few hours maybe and makes sure that the kid has everything she or he needs until God comes back. The kid will be taken care of. Everything's there, the food, the toys, whatever. But that God's really not looking at you while God's away.
Yeah.
So I think that, I don't really think God's looking at me to, kind of focus on that part of the issue.
Good. That's good. And I think that's actually even what the psalm isn't even commenting on that. And maybe I was misleading the group. I have set the Lord before me, which is to say that someone is setting up a perception that they should have, rather than commenting necessarily on a theological truth, right? The psalm isn't commenting that God is there watching me. The psalm is just saying, I'm putting God in front of me so I can think about God when I wake up. So thank you for bringing us back to that. there's a little bit more here. Does anybody mind reading this last part of Moshe Isserlis's commentary?
And one should not be ashamed because of people who mock him in his service of God, and should also go modestly. And when he lies on his bed, he should know before whom he lies. And as soon as he wakes up from sleep, he should rise eagerly to the service of his Creator. May he be blessed and exalted.
Awesome. Thank you. Is this little tidbit adding anything for us?
This is Diane. I mean, maybe that ties back to the lion concept, not be timid, not be modest, embrace it, own yourself and your relationship to God. Be bold.
Good.
This is Patricia. So I was thinking more of respect that you may have to yourself, like kind of always act respectfully, whatever the situation, not necessarily because I feel like this text almost implies some fear or some judgment. But to me, it's more like be respectful to yourself, always act with respect. Irrespective of the environment, whether you are alone or you are with other people, and whatever importance these people may have.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about that. Just always act respectfully and the way you would be proud of yourself, rather than, I don't know if that's what ashamed of him constantly refers to, but to me it implies a little bit of fear and judgment from God, but I would interpret that more as being always proud of what we do.
Good. It definitely to my ears emphasizes accountability. Right? Even when you're alone, you're still accountable. To what? You can answer that question, but there's accountability that at once
Looks like Ross might be frozen. Or should be back in a minute.
I
think you froze for a minute.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Hello. I guess welcome back to me. I was saying that. Did you hear my reflection on accountability? Did that come through? Okay, I see some nods. So the other thing I was just emphasizing was that this language of shame is also interesting, because it seems like the author is acknowledging that people can have shame about their religious ideas and beliefs, and so much so that it can even trickle into how they start their day. Right? People might feel embarrassed about their desire to be religious or to do ritual, to be in service of God. And even here they're saying, don't be too worried about that. This is your time. Which I think is just a little interesting inclusion in this broader conversation. So I want to skip ahead a little bit. I usually bring more sources than we need, but just to have them in case we want to go there. I want to start getting into this Modeh Ani prayer, blessing. And in traditional Jewish thought, this is how Jews in the imagination of the rabbis are starting their day. Sounds like, from the reflection of the group, it sounds like some people may do this, some people may be familiar with this. So we're going to just think about it together. Does anybody feel comfortable reading the Hebrew for us, or chanting it if you tend to chant it yourself?
I could chant the beginning.
Yeah,
the
please.
first phrase. Modeh Ani lefanecha. We say Ruach Hai v'Kayam. Modeh Ani lefanecha ruach b'kayam. I'll leave it at that.
Beautiful. That's very beautiful. Thank you. Good. So Modeh, this is the masculine form. Thank, and then this is Modah. This is the feminine form. It is Hebrew is a gendered language. So there's two different versions here. And I put down two different translations. I actually have a problem with both of them, which I'll share in a second. But does anybody mind reading the Art Scroll, which is like a standard Orthodox siddur, and then the Kol Nishama, which is, I would say, the standard reconstructionist siddur, how they both translate this for us.
I gratefully thank you, O living and eternal King, who have returned my soul within me with compassion, abundant in your faithfulness. I give thanks before you, sovereign, who lives and who endures, because you have renewed my breath of life with providential kindness. How abundant is your faithful care.
Beautiful. Thank you. What sticks out about this? What do people notice? Either one, the Orthodox or the Reconstructionist.
Can you bring that up a little bit higher?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You can even make it bigger too.
I like the breath of life in here.
Breath of life. Yeah. Why did you like that?
Because it's not in the top.
Uh-huh.
My soul might be my breath, but my soul, you think of something different with the soul. Breath of life feels like a physical, that you really get going again.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's nice. Right.
I look at that the same thing with breath of life. You know, there's something a little scary about going to sleep, and it's when you wake up and you're still breathing, or your spouse is next to you and is still breathing. I think there's a lot of gratefulness and gratitude with that.
That's nice. The breath feels, it's palpable. It's a part of our experience reality. And that helps us feel, I think you're saying, gratitude. Soul for some people might resonate, and for some it might be abstract. But here we breathe. We all know what breathing is.
And that's what I was thinking. Soul is sort of, what do you think of with soul? I mean, we've learned what to think about it, but it's really much easier to think about breathing and physical parts of your body, and then the soul, which is inside somewhere. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
What struck me is that in reading these, essentially it implies that you're lifeless when you're asleep. And you need God to bring you back to life again.
Yeah. I think that's an accurate reading. Or partial lifelessness, at least. Yeah.
It's not clear that our soul is leaving us when we sleep. I don't like this idea.
Yeah.
I think overall, the prayer either way is really powerful in setting the tone for the day in terms of gratitude and kind of empowerment a little bit. But the difference to me between the two is the Art Scroll one, the more traditional, is very, how can I describe it? Forceful. It's kind of telling, it is saying, I gratefully thank you, but the language just isn't soft. The language is harder.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it. Whereas the Reconstructionist version is softer and kinder.
Very good. So for those in the group who were in our previous poetry sessions, if we were to read these like poems, what would support Bobby's reading that the Kol Nishama is softer? What about the language here? And even if you weren't in the poetry series before, I was just more making a tongue-in-cheek reference, like, what's going on here? Why does this feel gentler to maybe it feels gentler to you?
I think because of certain modifiers, because make it a little softer, and I think there's an explanation. How abundant is your faithful care, rather than declaration, abundant is your faithfulness.
Good. I give thanks before you. It's probably also a little more colloquial. I gratefully thank you. This is like a more formal tone. Oh, living and eternal King. I always think k sounds are hard, they're harsh. Sovereign who lives and who endures. There's a gentler accessibility, even just to the sound of those letters too.
There's more of a relationship in Kol Nishama in both. It's not as direct. It's about the relationship between God and us. You say, hey, how abundant is your faithful care? You know?
Good. Who endures us?
Before you, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Also, at the very end, the Kol Nishama one says, your faithful care, not just your faithfulness. So it's a little more explanatory.
Good. There's some kind of concreteness. It's taken away some of the abstractness of some of these words, given us more to sink our teeth in. I'd say one just quick reflection too. The English here doesn't really communicate this, but when I actually first studied this in a formal space, I remember a teacher, Rav Shai Held, who really emphasized the first word of this prayer, Modeh, or Modah. And if we were to translate it, if I were to try to translate this, I probably wouldn't say, I give thanks before you, but rather, thankful am I. And the very first word is probably more accurately, thankful. And if folks, does that do anything for you as readers? Thankful am I versus I give thanks.
I think it's more poetic.
Hmm.
It has it's reaching from a broader sense into me, instead of just, oh, here I am. It's more out there, thankful, and then I'm bringing it all in.
Thankful is much more direct. It starts off with it. It's very direct. It's right there.
Right. The focus, I think what you're saying, the focus is on the thanks. Right. The focus is not on the I here.
Right.
Gratitude is the first word, or the implication of gratitude, rather than the first word, and therefore, by way of the concept, is not me.
Exactly.
So I remember 13 years ago sitting in a little round table with this with Rabbi Shai Held, and he was emphasizing, yeah, this is not a coincidence, right? We, if we really want to fill ourselves with gratitude, we probably don't want to start off by thinking about me. We probably want to start off by thinking about the thankfulness, which in some ways implies something else. That's not me. But of course, I'm the one who's thankful. So we're going to put that in there too. But thankful is how we start.
Well, Ross, can somebody be, it says thankful am I, which I takes it that I am thankful. Does it all have to relate to God to be thankful? I still have a problem with that. Maybe it's the way I look at God. Something created this world, all of it. And there's beauty in much of it. So waking up, when I say thankful am I'm really talking about myself, not for anything more than that.
Mm-hmm.
It is how does one think about that versus I gratefully thank you, or I'm thanking God or whomever.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's different than saying thankful am I. It's much more personal just to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're going to look at some sources later too that don't put, let's say, God in the middle of this. Some that are interested in just the thankfulness and the gratitude. So we're going to get there. And I think, man, a short, in a short phrase, I would say, yes, I don't think you need God in the conversation to say thankful or to have gratitude. I don't think that's necessary. Clearly, the traditional versions of this emphasize God. And even I think if we wanted to read it as though thankful am I, as opposed to I give thanks, right? There still is an I there. There's still a me. There's still a you. The only difference is just what's leading it, And I think the to paraphrase my teacher, from what I remember, is that to feel thankful, to cultivate thankful, is that we have to start with thankful. But of course, there still is an I. Did that answer their question in some way for the time being?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's jump ahead a little bit. So that is, I guess where we are right now this is the traditional liturgy that we're looking at. And one of the beautiful things about Reconstructionism is that there's a lot of Reconstructionist versions of this that are out there. What I did was bring the traditional liturgy, that the first thing that people say when they wake up, and to be like a lion, as it were, is to start by saying thankful, by saying thank you, and thank you to God, or thankful am I. And so I wanted to bring a couple modern voices too. I put down 2 songs where I think we might listen to one, and I can send others if folks are interested in. An Israeli song written in the last 15 years, maybe the last 10 years, that would be on the radio in Israel. That this blessing, this prayer, is so incorporated inside the everyday culture over there that it's on the radio, and like a modern version of it. So I want us to read it, listen to it, and then I want to close by looking at one, if not 2, short variations from Ritual Well, which is a Reconstructionist kind of online library of some modifications of this to help kind of find people's voice in the ritual. So does anybody mind reading Thankful Am I? Modeh Ani, the title's called Modeh Ani. And then we can listen to it together. Starting here and going down.
Thankful am I, right. Thankful am I each morning that you returned my soul breath. Thankful am I for the clothing that you rested upon my body, so that I won't be cold and you will watch over me. Thankful am I each morning upon the light of my being. Thankful am I for the bread that you placed on my table, so that I won't be hungry and I won't know pain. For the countless smiles, I am thankful. For all of the gifts and for all of my songs, everything I dedicate to you.
keep going.
Okay. No, that grateful am I to you. I will yell out to you. Great is your name, and to you I call God. My life is for you. My heart is for you, and my thanks to you. I will call God to you. I will call God or Hashem, depending on where you are in this process. Thankful am I each morning upon my strength, my father and mother. Thankful am I upon the rain that you delivered to my fields, to care, to love, and gave me life. For a day of comfort, I am grateful upon your light and blessing upon the family. Everything is only on account of you. Know that I am grateful for you. I will yell out to you, great is your name, and to call you I call God. My life is for you, my heart is for you, and my thanks to you. I will call God to you, I will call God.
Thank you. Oh, wow, it keeps going. Last one, sorry.
For all my failures, thankful am I. My disappointments, my fears and obstacles, they are all for my good. There is nothing in my heart other than I am grateful for you. Or I'm sorry, I am thankful for you.
Thank you. Thank you. What is this? What are we reading, and what is this saying about Modeh or Modeh Ani, the first blessing of the Jewish liturgical day? How is this speaking to that?
I think it has an awful lot to do with gratitude.
It's really about all of life, all the parts of our life.
Right.
Well, I'm very troubled by this, because when it says it's everything only given by you, yes, I'm grateful for what I have. I always stop and think, if God does everything, why is he letting other people not have what I have? Safety, food, and everything. So I always question what God does, because God created us. We could be smart, we could be dumb, we could be everything. And if he controls my life, what is he doing to other people, for other people? And that's what stops me from being grateful.
Good.
I always wonder of those who don't have it. And if there is a God, why is he discriminatory? Okay. That's what I have to say.
Good. So you're raising a question about, not necessarily about what you have, potentially about what other people have.
Don't have,
right? Or don't have. And does that affect your gratitude? Or does it, I'm wondering, does it affect your gratitude, or does it
I
affect?
don't call it gratitude. One time, the rabbi who took over, Rabbi Julie, we were discussing gratefulness, and I said, every morning when I take a shower, I'm grateful, and I say, why me? And she said, most people who say why me are complaining. I'm always wondering, why me? When I mean, I always say, why me? If God created everything,
yeah,
he control other things. I mean, I can't believe there's a God who says, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. But if you don't say thank you, thank you, thank you, off with your head. So I don't buy this at all.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're reflecting that instead of thankful am I, you might have a reaction that says,
I always say, lucky am I?
Yeah, lucky. Or maybe a little guilty too. I feel guilty.
No, not guilty.
Not guilty. Oh, okay. Lucky.
Lucky.
Yeah. And do you feel, is there an emotional reaction to luck?
Let's see.
Luck, I feel like I have a hard time thinking about luck as an emotion.
Breathing.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm going to someone off. Hello.
Okay, sure. So her reflection, right, is that thankful doesn't totally feel good because there's also a worry or concern about what other people are experiencing. And I think she was saying that it's hard to be thankful if other people don't also have it.
But in a way, Ed, I muted you, so if you want to talk, you have to unmute again. But in a way, this is like the analogy of putting on your oxygen mask first. Like you have before others. So you have to take care of yourself. And if you are grateful and thankful, it will help you move through the day with more intention or better intention.
That's a nice analogy. Yeah, and Ida, did you also want to say something?
No, I was listening. Yeah, I think I already expressed that. I still have a problem with being thankful. The word God at times bothers me. I am grateful. I am thankful. I do worry about other people, but I think I have to be thankful within myself and grateful, which gives me then a better opportunity possibly to reach out to others to express life.
Good. Yeah, I think the way that both you and Bobby are reading, I think this is probably truest to the liturgy. Right? This is saying, thankful am I. That's the only place I can really begin. And maybe from a more socially activist mindset, this means, okay, the more I'm strengthened, then I can go out and help, or I can think about how to address these other challenges. And it also, it's interesting, right? This final line I think is interesting. For all my failures, thankful am I. My disappointments, my fears and obstacles, thankful am I. It's just an overwhelming gratitude, even for things that seem like are difficult or painful. I guess we have two options here. Would people be interested in listening to the song and then reading a humanistic Modeh Ani that doesn't use the language of God, or should we just jump to the humanistic Modeh Ani? I'm open to either one. How does the group feel?
I would like to hear the song.
That's it.
How about a sampling of the song? I don't know how long it is, so.
Okay, let's do like maybe a couple minutes of it, and then we can keep going. So I have two songs. Let's do this song. Okay, let me know if the audio comes through. Entitled Modeh Ani. Do you folks hear it? You know what? I'll follow along with the text.
מודה אני כל בוקר שהחזרת את נשמתי, מודה אני על בגד שהנחת על גופי, שלא יהיה לי קר, אתה שומר עליי. מודה אני כל בוקר על האור, על עצם היותי, מודה אני על לחם שהנחת לשולחני, שלא אהיה רעב, שלא אדע כאב. על אין ספור חיוכיי, מודה אני על כל כישרונותיי ועל כל שיריי, את כולם מקדיש לך. דע לך, שמודה אני לך, אביר שמך, אליך אקריה, לך חיה, לך ליבי, לתודתי, אליך אקריה.
Just do a little more.
מודה אני כל בוקר, כוחי על אבי בעלימי, מודה אני על גשר שנתת בשדותיי, לדאוג לאור המים נתת לי חיי. על יום המנוחה מודה אני, שפע וברכה למשפחה, כל כולי רק בזכותך. דע לך, שמודה אני לך.
Okay, thanks for that. We can, I can't see everyone's face. I don't know if everyone's enjoying it, but I hope you enjoyed a little bit of it, and I can send the link out if you'd like. Let's close off by looking.
Yeah, if you would, Ross, send me the link and I'll post it.
Okay, yeah, happy to do that.
Thanks.
So Ritual, again, it has a really nice collection of modernly, contemporarily created rituals, kind of recreations for folks that don't jive with the traditional liturgy. And so I wanted to pull out some. If folks who did any of the pre-reading, I put 2 in there. But we can start with this one. It's the Humanistic Modeh Ani by Zohara Shir El. And does anybody mind reading this for us? Gratefully, I acknowledge.
It's Diane, I could try.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Gratefully, I acknowledge the source of life, reawaken my connection to all that breathes. This new day, I bless with an open heart and embrace the oneness that endures embracing me. Blessed is the caress that removes the slumber from my eyes. Blessed is the still small voice inside that guides me when I allow myself to listen. Blessed is the empathy drawing me to help those in need, and the humility that lets me ask for help when I need it. Blessed is strength fortifying me to face the challenges ahead. Blessed is the grace that lets me accept the loving kindness of others and spurs me too toward chesed. Blessed are the hands that heal me. Blessed is the hope that helps me heal myself and others. Blessed is the knowledge that my life depends upon divine grace, revealed in the generosity and good works of humankind. Blessed is all that enlightens me to the beauty of the universe and to my own beauty and worth. Source of life, the soul that dwells inside of me is pure. May my waking up and my going out into this world always be for peace.
Thank you.
It would be wonderful to have this actually in writing on a piece of paper.
You
because
have it, Roby. Roby, you have it. It was sent out with the, in this week. There's a link to it.
Oh, it was, because I was thinking we can use this during services. We get stale.
Yes,
with-
Roby, you have it.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, thanks.
So Ruby, why did you like it? What sticks out to you about this one? Or someone else who this spoke to?
This prayer, or this reading answered or expanded or replied to a thought I had about thankful am I that when I wake up, I realize, wow, everything that's out there, and I'm so grateful for it, and that it keeps me from being egotistic and narcissistic and thinking, oh, everything, it's all about me. It isn't. Look at all the stuff that's out there. So I like this reading for that reason.
It definitely also some of the voices to less comfort with the traditional liturgy, as you're also describing, it was about the focus on the self. And here there's also this acknowledgement, I think you're describing too, of like thinking about outside of me, right? I'm also grateful for empathy and for thinking about others who are in need. So I think the author is really bringing it more expansively and also more inclusively. Who else? Any other thoughts on this?
Roth, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
if you're, because my bubby every morning would say her morning prayers, whatever they were. So of all the things that we've looked at today, what would an Orthodox person start her morning or his morning with? Which of them?
They would have start with this. Modeh Ani lefanecha melechai v'kayam shechazarta bi nishmati bechemla rabba munatecha. Thankful am I. Yeah.
Oh, that's the Kol HaNeshama or the Art Scroll one?
You know, it's the same exact text. It's just the translation.
Hebrew,
is a
the
little different.
translation. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I often wondered because I used to stand with her
Hmm.
and listen, but of course I had no idea what she was saying. I just
I have two little daughters at home, and one of them is named Neshama. So I say this, and then we look at each other. Shechazarta bi nishmati. It's neshama sheli, my neshama. So thankful am I. And so I don't know if she totally understands, but we do it together, and we also have an appreciative moment there.
thank you.
You know, maybe in a similar vein, this is also, I would say, kind of a humanistic version of Modeh Ani. And do folks have a few more minutes to read this before we close? If you have to go, that's okay. I just thought we might as well read this together. Modeh Ani, a warm body. Does anybody mind reading this for us?
We are blessed, neshama of life. In the morning, there is a warm body, small, soft toes playing under the sheet, quiet and noisy breathing that I listen to every day. We are blessed, quiet and noisy as we breathe in and as we breathe out.
Thank you. So this one is probably somewhere between poem and prayer, but offers another approach to say how to say thanks in the morning. There is a warm body, small, soft toes playing under the sheet.
I really like that line.
So is this a prayer for your baby? Your child?
It's a good question. I think this is an expression of gratitude that I think the author is grounding in the either literal, like the actual baby, or an imagined baby. There's a warm body here, and they have small, beautiful little toes. And I'm grateful. And I think sometimes the image of a baby can help bring something out in us that's maybe softer or more thankful.
A memory of myself.
What does this do for you? Does this help you, or does this bring out memories for you?
It makes me think of me as a baby.
Hmm.
And me, the grown-up, being willing to care for her.
Hmm.
To take care of that little girl inside of me.
That's very beautiful. Yeah, you have a little baby there under the
She's
sheets.
always there. She's
Yeah.
always there, but I'm the grown-up.
Yeah, I like that.
I can tell her not to be afraid. I'll be there to take care of her.
Good. Very beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So I want to be sensitive to everybody's time, but I appreciate learning with everyone, and I hope that this has been a little bit revealing about Modeh Ani as a way to start the day, Modeh Ani, and both traditional voices and then also contemporary voices about how to approach it, how to think about gratitude, and when thinking about gratitude, also thinking about for what are we grateful for. What helps us feel that? What helps us start our day? And how important is it to try to start the day ka'ari, like a lion, with gratitude. So thank you all. I'm happy to stick around for a couple minutes, and otherwise I hope everyone has a wonderful day and a good lunch.
Enjoy the Super Bowl
Oh yeah, and enjoy the Super Bowl next week.
tonight. Isn't it
No,
tonight? Oh, it's next week, right?
Bobby, are you able to shut this off, or did you leave? If you left, you won't answer. It's me. I will shut it down.
Thank you,
But-
thank you, thank you.
You are the host now.
Thank you.
Time.
Hi, all. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
That was Diane.
Thanks, Diane. Have a good one. Good to see you.
All right, we don't need to stay on, so I'm just gonna end this meeting. Okay, bye you all.
Bye.